Psalm 28, do responsively. O Lord, I call to you, my rock. Do not be deaf to my cry, lest, if you do not hear me, I become like those who go down to the pit. Hear the voice of my cry, when I cry out to you, when I lift up my hands to your Holy of Holies. Do not snatch me away with the wicked, or with the evildoers, who speak peaceably with their neighbors while strife is in their hearts. Repay them according to their deeds, and according to the wickedness of their actions. According to the work of their hands repay them, and give them their just deserts. They have no understanding of the Lord's doings, nor of the works of his hands. Therefore he will break them down and not build them up. Blessed is the Lord, for he has heard the voice of my prayer. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and I have been helped. Therefore my heart dances for joy, and in my song will I praise him. The Lord is the strength of his people, a safe refuge for his anointed. Save your people and bless your inheritance. Shepherd them and carry them forever. And a reading from St. Matthew. Then 2 bandits were crucified with him, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by derided him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days. Save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests also, along with the scribes and elders, were mocking him, saying, "He saved others. He cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down from the cross now, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God deliver him now, if he wants to. For he said, 'I am God's son.'" The bandits who were crucified with him also taunted him in the same way. From noon on, darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. And about 3 o'clock, Jesus cried with a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," that is, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of the bystanders heard it, they said, "This man is calling Elijah." Have you ever cried out, my God, meaning nothing by it, or something by it, or else you text OMG in all caps, OMG. When Jesus uses those words upon the cross, what is he saying? What does he mean? Listen to the cry of praise. "O God, you are my God," step by step.
O God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. O God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. I will seek you in the morning, and I will learn to walk in your ways, and step by step you'll lead me, and I will follow you all of my days. O God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. O God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. I will seek you in the morning, and I will learn to walk in your ways, and step by step you'll lead me, and I will follow you all of my days. I will follow you all of my days.
During life upon this planet, in this world, Jesus would certainly have echoed those words and sentiment. But nailed to the cross, that which is written in prophecy, that which one only knows in part, comes to be reality. A cruel reality of flesh and blood with stench of death. This is R-rated. In Tom Clancy's book, The Hunt for Red October, which is a spy novel, Red October is the name of a Soviet submarine. But if you've seen the movie, maybe you've seen the movie if you haven't read the book. Marcus Ramius, the captain, wants to defect from the Soviet Union because he's Lithuanian, and he has seen the cruelty of the Soviets who came and took over his country, and also suppress the church of his country. He's gone through the ranks and finally is about to steal a Soviet sub because he is the commander of the Red October. Throughout the whole book, he has the Soviet Navy, the Americans, and the English searching for him. In one of the early passages in the book, it describes his inner thoughts, particularly concerning his wife, Natalia. Natalia died in the bungling of a Soviet medical system, and the passage reads, Marcus Ramius watched the coffin of his wife roll into the crematorium chamber to the solemn strain of a classical requiem, wishing that he could pray for Natalia's soul, hoping that grandmother Hilda, who had had him secretly baptized as an infant, had been right, that there was something beyond the steel door and the mass of flame. Only then did he recognize the full weight of the events to strike him. The state had robbed him of more than his wife. It had robbed him of his means to assuage his grief with prayer. It had robbed him of hope, if only an illusion of ever seeing her again. He was robbed. Ramius felt alone. Griefless, he was alone. Jesus came into this world as a child, helpless to die for those in grief and for those who are griefless, to die for all humankind. With tears he suffered, bore the pain, suffering for all. Jesus became the servant of all, the suffering servant, the servant king of all.
From heaven you came, helpless babe, entered our world, your glory veiled, not to be served, but to serve, and give your life that we might live. This is our God, the servant King. He calls us now to follow him, to bring our lives as a daily offering of worship to the servant King. There in the garden of tears, my heavy load he chose to bear. His heart with sorrow was torn. Yet not my will, but yours, he said. This is our God, the servant King. He calls us now to follow him, to bring our lives as a daily offering of worship to the servant King.
A man who was Bishop of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris during the early part of the last century was a great preacher, evangelizer. He tried to reach out to many unbelievers, scoffers, cynics. He liked to tell the story of a young man who stood outside the cathedral and shout derogatory remarks at those going inside. He called them fools. Most tried to ignore him. One day the parish priest went out to confront the young man, and the young man ranted and raved against everything the priest told him. Almost giving up, the priest invited the young man in, saying, "Come, look, let's get this over with once and for all. I'm going to dare you to do something, and I bet you can't do it." The young man spat back, saying, "I can do anything you propose, you whitewashed something or other." And he did say not something or other. "Fine," said the priest. "All I ask you to do is to come inside to the sanctuary with me, up to the front, and face the figure of Christ and scream as loud as you can, 'Christ died on the cross for me, and I don't care one bit.'" The young man did not hesitate. He went into the sanctuary, and he went up to the cross, and he looked at the cross, the image of Christ on it, and he screamed, "Christ died for me, and I don't care a damn." The priest said, "Very good. Now do it a second time." And a second time the young man stood there, and he screamed at the cross, and he said, "Christ, you died for me, but I don't give a damn." And then the priest said to him, "Now do it a third time." A third time. The young man looked up at the cross, words trying to come to his mouth. When no words came, tears filled his eyes. He sobbed. He cried. The young man fell to his knees, crying and sobbing. The bishop said, "I was that man. I was that man. I was that young, defiant youth. I thought, I don't need God," and found out that I needed God more than I could imagine. And upon a cross is the one who loves me more than I can imagine.
Upon a cross of scorn and shame was hung the Lamb for sinners slain, despised and rejected, there he died. That sinful hearts be justified. That sinful